Shut up and sit down.
Greetings, fellow travelers. Obix here, and today I want to talk to you about the Cygnus Albireo. Now, this is a first look, not a full review, because I received this watch today. And I'm going to guess this is the first time anyone has seen this watch, at least on the YouTubes. This was a Kickstarter watch. And it is the first time I've ever backed a Kickstarter. So I'm going to kind of walk you through my experience with that process and, what I thought about it and what we wound up with. And see if it's a good way for you guys to maybe consider looking at purchasing watches in the future, or if it's something you should avoid. We'll take a look. Let's start with taking a look at the Albireo. Now, the Kickstarter for Cygnus, they did release 3 different watches. The Albireo, the Guyana, and the Deneb. I did not go with the other 2. We'll take a look at them further down the road in this little chat here. I'll bring up the website and show you the others, and we'll kind of go through why I didn't. But this is the Albireo. This is the one I went with. So let's take a look. So we open the box and we get another box. Fantastic. So let's open the box within a box, and we'll get this out of the way. And we got the nice Cygnus logo. I actually like the swan logo there, and it does say down here, Italian designed and made by Aspire Gears Incorporated. I don't know if Cygnus is a part of Aspire, or if Cygnus designed it and then handed it over to Aspire to make it. I honestly don't know. So, hey Cygnus, if you're watching, why don't you tell me? Let's take a look. Little pull tab here. Fantastic. I actually like this case. Nice hard box. Good deal. Good job on the presentation and while still keeping the cost down. Really nice foam here. And there's our piece. Super thin leather strap. I'll pull him out and get it set out of the way. And let's go ahead and peel that plastic off, my favorite part. And I bet you we got some on the back. We do. Let's get that off of there. So as you guys know, we wear all of our watches around here. And there we go. Very nice. You'll notice something a little bit different about this piece that you might not notice with other pieces. Yeah, one hand. It's a one-hand watch. I really like that. That's such a neat idea. And there's other pieces that have done that in the past. I just don't own any, so I wanted one. But, ta-da, got one. So there is only one hand. There is no hour hand, no minute hand, no second hand. And where that hand falls between the digits, you see right now it's between the 9 and 10. Where it falls between the digits is how far along it is. If it's halfway, it's half past the hour. If it's a quarter away, it's a quarter past the hour, or 15 minutes past the hour, however you want to look at it. This is what they call their chrome model. So it's the stainless steel with the black face and that kind of cyan color on the Arabics, as well as that single hand. They had a couple other colorations as well. They had a rose gold that actually looked pretty good. I'll put a shot up in there of the other color options that you had to choose from. It is 316L stainless steel, and I have no doubts there. It's actually really nicely done. Good job, Cygnus. Now, I will tell you, there's one of my pet peeves. If you look at the side of the watch, the brushing runs horizontal. But if you come up here between the lugs on both sides, the brushing is vertical. That's always irritates me when manufacturers do that. That to me is lazy. If you're going to brush sideways here, you have to brush sideways here, and that's a lot harder to do and a lot more, money, because it takes a lot more effort from the person doing the polishing to get that. But it definitely makes a difference. Or not polishing, I'm sorry, brushing. But it's something, I find that actually on a lot of watches, so I've just grown to live with it over the years. There's some really nice polishing details right here around the lugs, right on the edge, all the way around, and then of course around the bezel there we have polish, and it's polished on the face, and there's an angle as well that it's polished on. We got a tiny little crown here, not branded, but look at that back. Boy howdy, that's a cool looking back. What do y'all think of that? Is a bit of a sundial. Well, it is a sundial inside what look like latitude and longitude lines. If you take a good look at it, see if I can get the light to shine just right on it so you guys can see it. It's a sundial, of course, reminiscent of the single hand. Now, taking a look, the face of the watch almost appears as though it's textured, but it's not. If you take a good look at it, yeah, take a good look. It looks almost like it's textured, but it's not. Whatever it's made out of just has that appearance. No idea what that's made out of. Yeah, I really can't tell. There are no applied indices. Everything is painted. The Arabics, the hour and half hour, quarter hour, and minute indicators, as well as the 24-hour indicators and all of their indices as well, are all painted. The Cygnus logo is painted. So we do have that little lollipop hand, with a lollipop at the counterweight, and a little white dot in the middle. All in all, looks pretty good. It's actually really, really light. Super, super lightweight. Flipping it over, we do have a push-on case back. And we have Cygnus branded Italian leather straps. I will tell you, the straps feel really, really good. No doubt they're leather. And, while there's padding in here, it's pretty stiff. So I think these will hold up really nice. But yet the leather itself is really soft and flexible. But it's just there's not a lot of squish in these, so they're not going to deform over time. Captive first keeper, loose second keeper, God's intended way, and branded buckle with Cygnus. Not a bad, and they do have the quick releases on the strap, so you can pop it off pretty easily. Though I don't know why you would. It's a good looking strap, goes well with the watch, and it's super comfy. I am a sucker for a good leather strap. So, yeah, all in all, not bad. Now, inside of this guy is the Miyota 2035 movement. That's a quartz movement, so nothing super special there. But, it's been good enough for Citizen for years, so it'll serve us well for a long time to come, I'm sure. Let's take a quick look at size. Break out the old calipers. It's not going to be huge. Looking at a 42. And it's actually pretty thin. You're looking at a 10. And then your lug to lug is 48. And then if you were going to replace the band, don't know why you would, it's a nice leather band, you're looking at a 20. Go ahead and hit it with a 20, you'll be fine. We'll pop it on the scale. Like I told you, it is super light. I expect this to be in the featherweight category. And 1.7, absolutely in the featherweight category. So this would make a great dress watch, something to wear, just poking out from under your suit. Or if you had a polo and some slacks, that kind of thing, it would work out really well. Plus, with having that single hand, that's a good conversation starter for anybody that takes a look at it. It's like, what the heck, where are your other hands at? I only see one hand on there. Then you get to have a conversation about what a single-handed watch is. So let's take a look at it on the wrist. Wrist check today. I am wearing my Stramansky Gagarin. Actually just got this piece in today. It is in titanium, and it is a modernized replica of the watch that Yuri Gagarin wore on the first time human beings went into space. So really cool piece, a little good piece of history. And check out that case back, very cool, very cool. A little embossed Yuri Gagarin there. Hi Yuri. Very cool, nice piece. Also super light, being titanium. Let's get the Cygnus on wrist. Boy, that leather sure is nice. I just noticed there's something written on the back here. Just stainless steel. Just wanted to make sure what that was. On the back of the buckle there. Strap this down. And there we go. Boy, that does look good on the wrist, doesn't it? Sure does. Not too big, not too small. Seems bigger than it is. When you hear the size, you're like, oh, that's a pretty big piece. I think 42, that's no slouch, but it feels like it wears smaller. That leather is a little bit taut right here, but that's going to loosen up and be really nice over time, I think, as it forms to you. It's a sharp looking piece, guys, and it really is easy to tell the time. Just a quick glance down there, and bam, you're on time, no problem. So really liking this guy so far. One thing I did want to show you guys, I don't know if I can get the camera to focus on it, I may have to put in a still shot here, but this is, if you look right here, number 5 of 999, and it is the Founders Edition. Because I joined the Kickstarter campaign, I get the Founders Edition and a very low production number. Very cool. Alright guys, as I was taking some close-up photographs, I did notice the dial is actually textured. It's actually a pretty cool looking texture. Take a look. So let's pop you over to the computer and actually take a look at the mass drop side of this thing. Not mass drop, what am I trying to say? Kickstarter side of this thing. So let's pop you over to the computer and take a look at the Kickstarter side of this thing and see how we got here. Alright guys, here we are on the Kickstarter page. Now what I'm going to do is walk you through what I've learned about Kickstarter in going through this purchase. So if you guys have already purchased off a Kickstarter before, you may want to just skip on. But for those that don't know, have never used it before, maybe this will help you kind of get over those fears of using the site. Because I tell you, it was a little confusing when I first started. I was a little bit nervous, a little bit hesitant. Like, do I want to give these people any money? But I think it worked out pretty good for me this through this first one, and I want to kind of walk you through it. So you start here. When you start the Kickstarter, you get to the home page, and what I do is I just hit the search box right here and type in the word watch and hit enter, and you get a whole bunch of watch choices, and I just scroll through there and pick out what I want. So I found Cygnus here, and I was impressed. This was the neb right here. This is the one that drew me in. And it's one of the ones, it's not the one I got. I'll explain why here in a minute. Now as we scroll down, you get some information up here that I didn't go into, I should have gone into. Now this is a completed project, so it's going to look a little bit different than a current project. So the way Kickstarter works is they collect, they set a target goal and they collect money, and if they reach that target goal, whatever the product is listed within the the project is going to be funded and built and created and shipped out to all the people that backed the project. If the project doesn't complete, then they don't take your money, and the project just kind of disappears. And they'll go. Maybe the manufacturer goes back, revamps, and tries again. So you get, a few sections up here at the top. One is the campaign, and this is the primary spot. This is where you want to start, and it tells you about what goods they're hawking. What they want to sell. So as you scroll down, you're going to see what they're trying to get. So you see they're trying to get a pledge of 19,404, or they're trying to get 18,000 was their goal, right there, 18,000. And they got 19,400, so they met that goal of 18,000, so they were able to back the project. Kickstarter was able to give them the money, and they were able to proceed with production. They ended up with a total of 79 backers, and they're out of Toronto, Canada. Now, as you scroll down, you're going to see those products. Now, the first one is the Alibreo, which is the one we got, and you can see the 3 colors that it came in. So we ended up with the chrome right here, and you can see that it had the gun black. I'm not a big fan of steel watches with PVD or paint or anything, black coatings on them. They just don't do it for me. I've got a few. I would rather have the straight up stainless steel. But I will say I do like this rose gold and blue, and I was torn between this one and the chrome. Of course, I ended up going with the chrome because I think it just goes with more things. I thought this blue band is a little bit too much, though I do think it looks really good with that rose gold and blue face. And kind of still want to get it, but I won't. Then usually they'll put a little video of the item, and this is just a quick little we'll spin it around video. It's nothing fancy. And then here they're telling you how to read the single-handed watch. And that's just because it's something unique. You won't find that in most of these watches. So the Gianna, you can see these nice little laser-etched lines, that kind of wave patterns run through the watch. This watch wasn't well received. Backer-wise, very few. Actually, let's scroll up and look at the backers for the Alibreo, which I was one, which is why it says I selected. And you can see there were 8, a total of 8 people got this watch. I actually got number 5. I don't think I showed it on camera, but I got number 5. But if we go down to the Gianna, one backer, one person got the Gianna. So, kudos to you, Mr. Gianna. And then as we scroll down, we see the Deneb. And now the Deneb is a little different because it's the only automatic. The Gianna and the Alibreo were both quartz-based. The Deneb is an automatic with Miyota movement. Now, here's the deal with the Gianna, and this is the one most people backed, was the Gianna. If we scroll up and look at its backers, let's see, 63 backers is super early birds, and then early birds we had 2 backers. Now, the super early bird, the early bird, and the nothing, there's a nothing down lower somewhere probably. Basically all that is, if you get in early enough, you get a cheaper price. So if we look at, for example, the Alibreo, I was a super early bird. We got it for 126 Canadian dollars, about 99 US dollars. And if we look down at the early bird, it's 138 Canadian or 109 US. So if you wait longer, the price goes up a little bit. So if all of these projects are timed, they put them up for a certain number of days. So if you try to wait till closer to the end to see if they get funded and to make up your mind if you want to join it or not, you may end up paying more if a bunch of people join. So it kind of behooves you to get in earlier. The earlier you get in, the cheaper you generally will get it at. And almost all of them do that. So as we scroll down and look at the Deneb, here we go. It did come in 3 colors as well. the rose gold, which I did not like, the gun black and red, which is okay, but again, that black PVD, which I'm not a huge fan of, but then the chrome, which I didn't like. So it's like, okay, that one was out, which is, the case style I would go for, but I don't like the coloration on the face. This one's out just because it's ugly to me. This one's tolerable, and tolerable is not enough to get me to spend my money. But the kicker was, if you scroll down, they have a section down here called stretch goals, and if they reach certain price points, they unlock what they call stretch goals. So if they had reached $50,000, then everybody gets an extra strap, or an extra strap option. If they had reached $80,000, that blue Deneb would have unlocked, and this guy I like a lot. Kind of like that blue and rose gold Albireo that we were looking at earlier. That I would have absolutely gone for. If this guy had unlocked, I probably would have got it. So there you go. They do detail the specs for the watches down in here. So here's, of course, the Albireo, which we did talk about when we were looking at the watch, and of course the Guyana and the Deneb, and we can see that guy does have that Miyota automatic movement. But that's basically how Kickstarter works. You select a project that you like, you choose the level of support that you want to do, if they're offering multiple watches, which one do you want? If they're have multiple tier payments, which one do you like? You select the one you like, you put in your payment information, and they don't bill you until the project completes. Once the project completes, you'll get a bill. They'll charge your credit card, whatever, and then you wait. And it can be a bit of a wait. Usually several months. And I don't know if it actually says on here when the project ended. This says it's the last day. Does it say when it ended? Probably here in updates. We made it. Thank you. Yes. So July 11th, this project ended. And we see it successfully raised, with 79 backers. It met its fund. It actually was 100% funded in July 2nd. The project closed on July 11th. They send out surveys. You don't pick the colors of your watch. How I showed you the Albireo has 3 different colors. You don't pick those colors until they send you the survey. They'll send you a survey and say, okay, which one do you want? And you say, okay, I want the blue one, or I want the chrome one, or I want the black one. And that's the one they'll send it to you. Make sure you respond to these surveys. And then they give you updates throughout production. Now, this was supposed to have been completed in August. I think if we look at the campaign, estimated delivery was August 2018. But you will see the watches did not ship until September. A lot of people get really pissy about that. But I will tell you that more often than not, as I'm looking through these projects, none of them ship on time. That seems to be the exception, or the exception is to ship on time, not the rule. The rule seems like they don't ship on time. So set that expectation for yourself. It's probably not going to ship by the date they says it's going to ship. I've watched, probably 50 or 60 projects go through before I actually joined one, and I don't think I saw even one of them ship on time. So just be aware of that. Be a little bit patient with them, and you're going to get your stuff. Just give it time. Okay, patience is a virtue. And then you have a comment section. And this, of course, these are all the guys that have already started getting their watches. So that's cool. But you'll get updates from the creators that tell you kind of where they're at. You'll also get emails. A lot of times they'll show you pictures of the watch in production after it's been completed. after the campaign's been completed and they've been funded, they got the money, and they go to production, start producing these watches. Because the watch isn't usually built until the campaign is finished. So the campaign finishes, they send out the surveys, they collect the money, then they go build the watches. So it's almost like build to order. Though they're usually building a few extra watches beyond what what came out of the campaign. So as they're building the watches, they'll usually send you some photo updates along the way. Once a month or so, you may get a photo like, okay, here's where we're at. We've got all the packaging, we're polishing cases, we're, whatever along the way. Or like we've hit a hiccup. One of our suppliers couldn't supply what they said they could supply, and we had to switch to a different supplier, so it's going to take us an extra 3 weeks to make that happen. Things come up, guys. Things come up as part of life. We all live it. We all live it day to day. Yeah, it sucks when it happens, but we all got to deal with it, right? They got to deal with it just like we do. We're just kind of on the back end of it, and we see it more in a Kickstarter campaign than you would see it if you went to Walmart and bought something, because Walmart's eating up all that time and you don't have to watch it. But in a Kickstarter, you actually watch it because they're building it as you're doing it. So, as you're waiting, and of course, waiting. We're never patient, right? Now, a lot of times after a campaign is complete on Kickstarter, they'll move over to Indiegogo. And they'll continue to sell the product if they have extra, which is the case here with Cygnus. So they have, they're selling the Deneb, the Albireo, and the Guyana. And you can see it's a little more expensive. We're up to $109, for the Albireo, but it's ready to ship right now if you want it, or the Deneb or the Guyana. So you can still get these watches. But notice that beautiful blue Deneb doesn't exist. What a shame. What a shame. I would love that one to exist. Don't even make a mention of it down here, do they? So disappointing. Want that piece, but it didn't happen. So I bring this up because if you guys looked at that Albireo and you're like, man, that's a cool watch, I really want one of those, you can go to Indiegogo and you can get one. So don't think just because the Kickstarter campaign's over that, oh man, I can never get that watch, that stinks. Check out the company's website, check out their Facebook page, check out Indiegogo. You will probably find them. They are probably selling the watch still. So you can still go pick you up one if you do like it. So I'm sure you're asking, Oblix, is it worth it? Is it worth backing these projects on Kickstarter? The answer is, yeah, I think it is. It's a great way for you to help small independent manufacturers that don't have the capital to go out and create, these pieces. It takes, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I actually looked at making a watch for myself, and just to get a prototype was $4,000. That's not counting back and forth in design, and that's not counting actually doing production, all this other stuff. It's a lot of outlaid money to make these things happen, and these micro brands just don't have the money to do that. So it's a great way for you to back a project, for you to fund them so they can go build something that you're going to enjoy. So have I joined other Kickstarter projects since joining Cygnus? Yes. I joined the Jack Mason project. Now, Jack Mason is a boutique watch manufacturer right here in my home state of Texas. So absolutely, I helped them out. Love helping out local companies. Plus, it's a really cool looking watch. That Regatta right there, check that sucker out. It's beautiful. I actually got the stainless steel brand, or stainless steel band. But I don't expect to see it until December. Now, cool thing about Jack Mason, because they're from Texas, they're actually having their launch party in Dallas, which is about 4 hours away from me. So I'm very seriously considering going to the launch party and actually getting my watch at the launch party. Let me know in the down yonder if y'all think that would be a cool idea. I would consider videoing it. Of going in and actually getting my watch. I think that'd be a cool video. Obviously, I'd talk to Jack Mason and see if they'd be up for me videoing before I actually did it. But yeah, I'm super stoked about that. So we got that coming in December. Are there any projects out there right now that I would back? Yes. I'm backing this one right now. The rotary analog. It has met its goal. It has not, there's only 8 days left, so if you want to join it too, you got 8 days to join. $75. What do you want for $75? And you get this pretty darn cool looking watch, with a, old style rotating numerals. I'm trying to say rotating numerals, but it is coming out numerals. Sound like such a hick. Anywho, very cool, kind of old gas pump like. The creator, Malcolm Ong, you'll see him right here. Actually talks about it in here, how it's very reminiscent of old USA style gas pumps right there, and he's absolutely right. So it comes in a couple different colors. I haven't, obviously the survey won't go out until the project is completed in 8 days. So if you guys have a color you would like to see me grab, put it in the down yonder. I have not made up my mind yet. So we got the Mars, which looks to be in all black. I think this is the Mars here. I will say Malcolm didn't do a great job on the photos on this, so there is that. Then you've got the Pluto, which I think this is probably gold. The Neptune, I can't tell if the Neptune is black and silver or if it's silver all the way around. And then the Apollo, which is black all the way around with a different, this looks like a tachyometer. This, I don't know what this is. So, yeah, here's a little bit bigger picture, but I can't really tell what that is. So I'll probably leaning towards the Neptune. But we'll see. But you guys, put a link in the down yonder. What you think? Which one I should go with? And if you like the styling of it, go back it for yourself. Help Malcolm out. He does have a few other watches. He's got this one, and these are not Kickstarter watches. I believe his dad owns a watch production facility in China, and this is watches that are just made out of that facility that are super dirt cheap. Like this one's like $6. This one's like $10. So, probably not the best quality watches, just saying. But if you want a dirt cheap watch to give out a bunch of kids at Christmas time, maybe that's a good way to go. Give the little ones the $6 watch. Maybe give the little, the 10-year-olds, a chronograph they can beat up. It's kind of cool looking dive watch. Actually, that one's not too bad looking. Yeah, that one's not bad either. So maybe that's a good idea. Anywho, I do think it's worth it. I do recommend you guys checking it out. And I sure do appreciate y'all coming to hang out with me today as we talked about the Cygnus Albireo as well as Kickstarter in general, and took a walk through Kickstarter and my first Kickstarter experience. As always, sure do appreciate you guys coming to hang out with me. And until next time, y'all get out there and make some noise. See ya.